I'm an independent associate with Prepaid Legal Services, and I'm here today just to educate a little bit about identity theft and hopefully protect you. It's in the news every single day. It's getting worse and worse every single day. There's no end in sight, and everybody needs protection. We're talking about identity theft, North America's fastest growing white-collar crime, and it's become a pandemic. They used to call it an epidemic, now it's a pandemic. We've seen the headlines in all the papers. It's in the news, it's in the magazines. Everybody's telling us about it, but nobody's telling us how to protect ourselves. Anybody know Mike Holmes from Homes on Homes? His identity was stolen, and in this newspaper article, he says that he spent a year going to police from bank to bank and Canada Post, and 3 years later, he still has to monitor his credit rating. He has to monitor his identity everywhere because the thieves are faster than the authorities. So what is identity theft? Identity theft is when someone uses your personal information to do something that you wouldn't want to be done without you knowing about it. And can it happen to you? Absolutely. It costs people a lot of money when their identity is stolen. It also has brought out some industry responses to help you with identity theft. And the best answer is what I'd like to share with you today. There's 5 common types of identity theft. The first one is driver's license identity theft. And we'll talk about each one as we go along a little further. Driver's license. That's when someone uses your driver's license number, puts their picture on the driver's license, and they still use your address. Now, do you think if they're going to go through that trouble, they're going to drive better than you? Or maybe they might rack up some tickets and you don't know about it. And then when you go to renew your license, you can't because you have to pay all those unpaid tickets. Or even worse, what if you get pulled over at 3 a.m. on a Saturday and the police are just checking a burnt out light? And the next thing you know, the police officer comes to your window and says, "Please get out of the car, ma'am," or "sir." And then they ask you to put your hands behind your back because someone using your driver's license committed a crime and didn't show up in court on their court date or your court date. Whose court date is it? They don't know. You're the one that's going to jail. Social insurance identity theft. That's when someone uses your number to get a job. Now, why would they do that? They either can't get a job because they just got out of jail and they don't want their employer to know about their background, or they're illegal and they can't get a job in this country because they don't have a social insurance number. Now, that doesn't seem to bother anybody too much, except when Revenue Canada comes after you a year later saying you haven't paid your income tax. And then you have to prove that you didn't work in those places because they want their money, no excuses. Medical identity theft. This one could kill you. And the worst thing you could imagine is someone using your OHIP card, going in for an AIDS test. It goes into your file, and then your life insurance gets canceled. Could that happen? Happens all the time. Here's an article in Reader's Digest saying that identity thieves target medical. An insurance card, you know, if you have company insurance, if you have group insurance and you have that little card, someone uses that, it's like a $1 million spending limit on a Visa. Just pass it along and people can get prescriptions and tests, go for acupuncture, maybe a little massage, and you're not getting all those benefits. Character identity theft, that's when someone becomes you. We've seen those movies. We've seen the shows. Someone becomes you. And there's 2 of you walking around, a good one and a bad one. Now, you're the good one. How do you find the bad one? And how do you stop what the bad one's doing with your good name? Very difficult. Financial identity theft. We've all heard about that one. That's your bank accounts and your credit cards and your debit card. That's what the banks and the credit card companies sort of help us with. That's only 28% of all identity theft out there. And that's the only one everybody knows about.